Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk more about Markiplier's movie Iron Lung. It did very, very well this weekend, especially considering it was a self-financed $3 million movie. And it came in second place. It came in second place this weekend, but it made like 17 or 18 million dollars domestic.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, especially for a $3 million movie.
But he had to fight to get theaters to carry it too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because there seems to, or at least he's claiming there were some shenanigans with some of the sites. They did not want to report fairly how well this movie was doing. And it could be an oversight, or it could just be that Hollywood might be afraid, right? I mean, this is, if you've got a guy with a couple $1 million who can make a movie himself and make that kind of return on it, that does send a message to Hollywood that, like, yeah, your $300 million tent poles might get toppled by a small team or one individual, especially with the advent of, AI technology and stuff. It could definitely upset the apple cart, and they're not going to like it. They have a nice system.
And the theaters area had to fight to get theaters to carry it in the first place because they weren't going to. And interestingly, though, they came in that close to Send Help with Iron Lung, but Send Help was in like 500 more theaters than Iron Lung was in theaters too.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the numbers on a couple different sites here. It's just, it really is astounding to see this. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think it was going to do that well because I'm like, nobody in the real world really cares about YouTubers that much, right? It feels like it, but you know what I'm wondering now? Do more people care about YouTubers than we're led to believe? Because the system, the media, the studios, they try to push YouTubers down. We've seen YouTubers try to break out of that system, and they usually get laughed out of the room.
Well, that's just it. I mean, Hollywood's trying desperately to take over YouTube and stuff. Why would they want to unless they knew it was kicking their ass? And that's what I keep saying. People, if they wanted to watch Hollywood stuff, they would go to the theater. They're not like they used to. They would watch the shows and the streaming and the late night shows. They're not. They might watch clips on YouTube, and they'll watch their people like, Markiplier and stuff on YouTube who they want to watch. They're not watching the Hollywood people anymore, and that's why they're so desperate to take over YouTube. This is going to probably hasten that desperation.
That is, and this is going to be used as a, hey, look what YouTubers can do when given the opportunity. But then what's going to happen is they're going to try to rein us all in.
They're trying to replicate it and fail.
They're going to replicate it. They're going to try to artificially create their own YouTubers. And they've tried this before. They tried pushing Hollywood celebrities on YouTube. And like, I remember Brie Larson, like, magically got 100,000 subs almost overnight, and then her channel just like completely fell off. It's like they're trying to.
But when the pandemic was over and she didn't need it anymore.
When she didn't need it anymore, yeah. And a lot of celebrities did that. They basically slummed it on YouTube or slummed it on podcasts until they didn't need it anymore, and they could go back to work, and it was just like a plaything for them. So we'll see what happens. But let's talk about this, and we're going to go out and look at Markiplier claiming that there were some shenanigans, which I completely believe there probably were. But again, he had to fight just to get this thing in the theaters. It was going to be very limited release, and it wound up on like 4,000 screens. So that's pretty amazing. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Hey, real quick, we're going to launch it later this week, but we're going to give you another chance to pick up the Crimson Rhen hardcover. We're going to go back to press with it with some all new perks. So keep an eye out for that on Kickstarter. Within the next day or two, probably. So go out and follow us if you want to get that. I know a lot of people missed out the first time. It's been a couple of years. So thank you very much for that. Then maybe we'll make a movie if we can get $3 million. We'll see what we can do. All right. So this is, let's see here. Let's go out to his post here. This is coming from Catherine Naomi, reposting his TikTok. So let's see what he has to say about the situation. He thinks there are some shenanigans going on here too.
So this is funny. This is on Friday, the box office numbers. I'm number one, right? I milked it a lot. I said it. It was very funny. I knew that Sam Raimi's movie was going to pass me eventually by the end of the weekend, but I was like, haha, I'm number one. But then I didn't see this yesterday, but here's Saturday's. So this is Saturday, right? I swear I was on this list.
Yeah, you were.
But
Oh, that's interesting. It's not on the list at all on Saturday.
I was telling you that on Sunday too.
Uh-huh.
Iron Lung isn't here anymore. There's no numbers for Iron Lung. It took me off the chart. And I thought, hey, maybe that's a fluke. maybe there's something wrong. But here's Sunday. I wake up this morning, which reports the day before his numbers. I'm gone. I'm not even above Hamnet. I'm nowhere. Zootopia's back up here. Avatar's up here.
Oh
Melania's up here. I feel like I should just, like, maybe I'd be fine with here. I'd be fine with being on the chart.
Is.
Why'd you take me off the chart?
Well, you know why they kicked him off the chart. You know why they kicked him off the chart? Because they're going to minimize. You know, they're like, okay, fine, let the theaters let the plebs have him because they're wanting it. No, maybe it's going to be limited run. No one's going to really care. And then it did better than their stuff. And then they're like, quick, hide it. You know, that's what it's about. And it's absolute crap because they don't want people to know that some guy with $3 million can beat them at their own game.
Yeah, so this is true. This is Matthias Warrior says it's because he's independent and he generated more profit than a major studio. That's why they do this to musicians too. This happens in publishing a lot too. We talked about this a while ago, but in mainstream publishing, to get on the New York Times bestseller list, it's not about who sells the most books. You would think it's about who sells the most books. It's not. It's whether or not they deem you worthy to put you on the New York Times bestseller list.
Well, not just that. They have certain locations. Certain locations they go by. It doesn't go by across the industry. Like, there's select locations. How much do they sell? And if you sell a lot there, you get on a list. People figured that out. So they just go in and buy a bunch of books, which you can actually pay companies to do, by the way. And they do it themselves all the time. They buy a bunch of books from those locations to fake the bestsellers list to get on it. And then the plebs found that out. Then they heard that they were calling foul. They've been doing it for years. Yeah,
but that turns out that really to get on the New York Times bestseller list, you got to know somebody like at the New York Times, right? And they do tend to favor certain publishers, certain agencies, certain people. Because I mean, we saw this in comics. There are all these people that like we know they don't sell books for shit, and they were getting on the New York Times bestseller list, even if it was like for a week. I'm like, I know this person doesn't get anything because like they would go out to Kickstarter and make like $5,000, right?
Well, it's not just that. Like you'd have publishers, like they go buy the books up and then they end up at Ollie's. And they were all the books that they bought, their own books, to try to artificially inflate the numbers.
Yes. It threatens the system. And you got to realize like the system, and it's across the board. It's every industry has a comfy little setup with the media and with the people who report the numbers, whatever.
Well, they own the system.
They own it.
They own it, and you're coming to their house and disrupting their system. So they're mad about it. Like, we don't want that to happen. Now, unfortunately, it's going to bite them in the ass because general public is sick of their shit, which I think they're learning quickly. And they're going out in droves to go support them. And the more they do this shit, the more they're going to come out and support Markiplier for the fact that they're going to stick it to you. You're actually making your own enemy by underhanded tactics.
So I have this theory. This person here, Maximum Suspense, says when Hollywood loses to a YouTuber, that should be enough to say they are cooked. I have this theory that Hollywood tried to control YouTubers about 10 years ago. And I don't think they ever really had serious intentions of making YouTubers celebrities. I don't think
they do now either. I think they're just telling working the guy's CEO kissing his ass, like thinking he's going to come in. Oh yeah, because then they'll schmooze him to get what they want.
Right, and then they'll control YouTube through controlling Neil Mohan.
Right.
But what happened 10 years ago? And we can speak to this because Markiplier was actually part of Maker Studios when we were part of Maker Studios.
As were we.
As were we. Now, obviously, we weren't as big as Markiplier, but we did have another channel that was in Maker Studios. Then Disney bought Maker Studios, trying to effectively control YouTubers, and they ran it into the ground. But we saw a lot of people get locked down in like Hollywood deals, but it seemed like they tanked them deliberately. Because I know Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning did a video on it, and they said that they basically played around Hollywood for 5 or 6 years. And they were spinning their wheels because they're like, oh, nobody's taking you seriously. You're only going to get like a reality show or whatever. And meanwhile, they were losing their YouTube audience chasing the Hollywood deals. Mm-hmm. And they said in the one video that they basically felt like they were being stalled out.
Yeah, that's exactly what they'll do.
And we saw that happen in publishing too.
I was going to say, we've had this happen.
We had it happen to us in publishing and animation. We had it, we were stalled out. We weren't being taken seriously, even though we had bigger numbers. And I I think Markiplier is very correct in the fact that he just, because Markiplier Studios, not like Markiplier through like, A24 or whatever. I mean, A24, picked up Has Been Hotel and all that, which was a YouTube thing first, but he did it himself. And I think you're probably going to have to, but that is a threat because they're not getting their cut, right? I don't know if is he union? Because he did everything himself, right? I don't know if he's union or not union or whatever, but they're going to be pissed about that because they want a cut of that. Mm-hmm. And so what they try to do is they try to either get the YouTubers locked in to play ball with it. Look at Aquafina, right? Right now she just gets like bit parts or whatever. Or they're going to just keep you on the back burner so you're not competing with their darlings. And that, or they make fun of you. PewDiePie, we talked about yesterday, he was at an award show, I forget which one, like Golden Globes or Kids' Choice Award or something, and they introduced him and nobody knew who he was and they were laughing at him. Like, oh, it's just a YouTuber.
Yeah, I know, and they're so arrogant. And you said about locking you down. All I could think of is the time that we had an agent that was supposed to be working for publishing, and we got the pinnacle, and they were talking an agent at a big agency. It was like no,
it was it's actually our agent at that time was with I think it was the second largest literary agency in the world. It was a New York agency, and they were representing a bunch of comic book people. And we were one of a handful of people that were represented, but we weren't the right kind of people.
Yeah, and that's just it. They used like connections we had and things that you asked, like you inquired about, doing some work for Disney projects and stuff. And what he did was, instead of going and getting the work for you, he turned around and used your connections and stuff you said to block you and then go get the work for his darlings. And that's what happened a lot.
Yeah, and one of his darlings happened to get the DuckTale gig.
One of his darlings also happened to ruin She-Ra, but that's a whole other story. Yes, we had the same agent as that person.
We did.
But anyway, so my surprise,
fabulous secret powers, fabulous secrets revealed. Yes, it was.
But here's the thing: it's like they're going to go out of their way, and the fact that they're doing this and they're making a public display of doing it, and they're doing this such underhanded shit, like first the theaters and now this, and it's up to the fans have gotten it put through, and so much so that like we're around us, there was one theater that was going to carry it, and then it went from that, and that was a ways away. It went from that to the local theaters are carrying it now, and they're selling out showings.
Yeah. It's weird because the one theater they carry a lot of like avant-garde stuff, but we had to travel a little bit to get to that theater. But they carry a lot of like the stuff that's only out for like a day or two, right?
And this was one of the ones that's only supposed to go there,
right? Well, yeah, like the mainstream theater carried it, and I happened to drive by it yesterday, and I'm like, it's a Sunday afternoon, the parking lot is packed. I'm like, this normally.
And I did go look and see which theaters were sold out, and it was for this.
It was for this. I'm like, are they playing Iron Lung? I'm like, oh, sure as hell. Yeah, they are. I said, that's what they're here for.
So the fans are going to support it. It's, and they also want to be part. He says he made it in such a way that's a viral thing, and on TikTok and stuff, and people want to be part of those viral moments. We saw that with Chicken Jockey and things like that. So if you definitely will get a boost if you can be a viral moment, which is what this is setting up to be. And of course, all that stuff is organic. A lot of times Hollywood tries. I mean, now they had Minecraft and stuff, but they can't generate legitimately these moments like people who are actually in touch with the audience can. They try to pretend, they try to fake it, but you need people who actually, have the real audience that they're where you found them, and they can do this. And they're not smart enough, and no one wants to see their shit. I'm sorry. I mean, Disney had their earnings call today. When it came to the movie theaters and stuff, they're down. The only thing that saved their ass was Avatar and Zootopia 2. Otherwise, they were ahead 700 million. They would have been in the negative since the last time they checked if it wasn't for the fact that they had those two films that brought box office. Because Tron Ares sure as hell didn't bring it.
No,
we were the only ones in the theater.
Hoppers isn't gonna bring it. Yeah,
Stupid.
This is what's awesome. He did a video and he got all teared up and he said, thank you guys so much for the support. I'm actually going to go see it tonight. I'm taking our daughter to go see it. She wanted to go see it really badly, so I'm going to go tonight and see it. But what's awesome is he's talking about how it's a win for the theaters. He said, I personally don't care about the numbers other than woohoo success. I'm going to be able to give the crew a big bonus. That's awesome. I'm not a big studio, so the split with the theaters is basically 50-50. It's really cool because everybody wins. And God knows the theaters need it.
He had to get them to carry it. He had to make a deal where he gave them half the money.
Well, that's usually how it works.
No, it's not that much. No, it's usually 1%. It's not half.
But you know what?
They get they're lucky if they get 20% from like Disney and stuff. It's not half. I mean, I'm glad he's doing it because it helps the theaters. But I'm also like, the theaters are dictating, we'll carry it, but you have to give us half the money.
I would have done it because
I would have done it too.
The alternative is you're in limbo. Yeah, but you see how the system is stacked against the little guy. You can't just like run your movie in a theater unless it's really damn attractive. So they're like, yeah, for 50%, we'll take a chance on it. And
I mean,
what
he's still gonna make money. He's still gonna make money anyway. Because,
yeah.
He's already at like 20 million
21 globally.
Yeah, globally, and it's gonna run for a short time. So there's still time, people to go see it unless they extend it. People will go see it. So even if you gave them half the money now, they get 10 million, he gets 10 million, it costs him 3. He's already like, ahead, way ahead.
So this is what's interesting. So this is why you have to, in a lot of cases, do it yourself. And it's one thing we learned the hard way. And I stupidly thought for years that, we would get people that would come along and help us. And, usually what they do is they bend you over and they take.
Well, they'll help themselves to your money.
They'll help themselves to your money. We're still reeling from a couple of bad calls I made, thinking that we were going to get help, but that's a whole nother deal.
Sorry about that one. Anyway,
we're not going to get started on that one, but yeah, and I think he was in the same situation because I remember him going through. He had an agency and he had whatever, and he did all this shit. Well, get this. So the guy has the movie done. He's got the audience, right? So he shared that Iron Lung was originally scheduled to play in just 50 theaters before exhibitors got on board and booked the movie in venues around the country. You had to give him, 50%.
Well, I can tell you it ended up in 3,015 theaters.
Yeah, that's crazy. He fielded calls about a major studio helping with theatrical rollout before moving forward with the decision to self-distribute. So probably what happened was he took the calls. They wanted to take the lion's share of the money.
Oh, sure. You do all the work. We'll take 70%.
Exactly. And that's how it works.
The theaters will get 20, you'll get 10, even though it's your work. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and that's how the system. So to play within the guidelines, the rules that they have set, that Hollywood has set, you have to give up like pretty much everything. And that's why you get these people that are doing these movies. You're like, the movie was a big hit or whatever. You're a filmmaker. You should be making all kinds of money. And it's like, no, I'm hardly making anything, because by the time they take their cut, there's really nothing left.
It's a system set up to benefit them.
Right. And it's either you play within the system and it's all, from the top to the bottom. It's, you got the executives, and then you got the studios and the accountants and the merchandising people, and the contract. We optioned a couple of series to Disney back when we were at Maker, when Markiplier was also at Maker, and the contract was draconian. It was like, we basically own your ass for, and if this thing happens, we own that too forever. So that's why you see these creators do these Cartoon Network shows, and they're like, why can't they just take it back? I'm like, yeah, they would have to spend. You
could probably buy it back for a bunch of extra money if it is successful. Money, yeah. But if it's successful, then they'll kick you to the curb, take it over, and they'll run it, and then make all the money, and you'll get nothing.
Yeah, and then we'll have little. Yeah, and they'll run the franchise into the ground because they don't know what the hell they're doing, because they don't view it as, the art as being part of the creator. It's like, to them, it's just a property, and you just slap the label on. And Bob Iger even talks like this: slap the Star Wars label on it, and people are going to come. No, not if the story's not any good. They're not. And yeah, so this is really awesome to see. And I want to say this is going to be a sign of things to come. I think the studios are going to take the wrong thing away from this and be like, yeah, we can't let this happen again.
Mm-hmm. But no, because they wrongly think that if they don't go see Markiplier's movie, they'll go see theirs. It's like they weren't seeing yours to begin with. No one's hardly going to see Send Help, are they?
No, not. It's a Sam Raimi movie. I didn't even know it existed. To be honest, I'm like, what's Send Help? It's a Sam Raimi horror movie. Okay, but yeah, how much money they spend on that compared to Iron Lung, and it didn't do much better than Iron Lung.
Looking at the top 10 even, and only a couple of the ones listed are ones that people actually are going to or have gone to a lot. Most of them they don't care.
Oh my God, they put Melania on the list, those Nazis. You're supposed to just ignore it exists,
Oh, I always see these articles and they're like, oh my God, it was like number 35 in the UK. I'm like, yeah, no one in the UK is going to care. Like, that's like saying, okay, hey, here's a movie from, the UK about some, obscure, well, she's not obscure, but like some like person that's in Parliament or something that no one here really cares about. And it didn't do well in the United States. Well, why would it? You know what I mean? I was like, that was stupid.
What's shocking? What's shocking about Melania is I didn't realize he was doing it. It's Amazon. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, so they're doing the Rings of Power, And everybody's worried about woke 007, but they're also doing Melania. Yeah, that's weird, man. I thought
Hey,
that would
they
been
cover
like,
all their bases. They'll take
it would've
money. They
been-
don't care.
yeah, it would have been like the Daily Wire or something. But so there we go, guys. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I think Hollywood's going to get big mad, and I don't know if they're going to let this happen again. So,
They're gonna try to pull the ladder up.
absolutely. So we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.